Hello, this is Dr. Dave of the Shrink Wrap Radio Psychology Podcast, coming to you once again to talk about my latest podcast interview. And this time it's Shrink Wrap Radio number 477 on liberation psychology and the resilience of indigenous peoples around the world, really, but the focus of this interview happens to be on Native Americans, with my guest, who is Dr. David E. Walker. And he is a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, who has worked for years with Native Americans, particularly in the Washington State area and the Yakima people. And he's written a couple of novels, and often the people that I interview, I've got their book to show. But the focus of our interview was not on the two novels that he's written, which you can find on Amazon.com. If you look under David E. Walker, you'll find that series. But as a result of the work that he's done with Native peoples, as well as his own family history, which traces back to the Cherokees, he focuses quite a bit on liberation psychology, which has its origins in South and Central America. And he looks at the institutional injustices, institutional racism that has pretty consistently throughout our history in this country been leveled against Native American peoples. And he focuses on the inequities of the DSM-5 diagnostic system, arguing that it really does not apply to them, that it's just not the right set of categories for their culture, and that it is either a witting or unwitting tool that demeans them. And he gives a lot of evidence to document this. On the flip side, he does wish to highlight their resilience, that despite all the years of marginalization, to say the least, being shoved off onto reservations and so on, that these people are extremely resilient, that they're able to call on their cultural traditions and so on, despite attempts to remove those over the years. And this, of course, is a situation that we've seen reenacted over and over again around the world, and it continues to go on till this day, particularly in South America, where some of the Indian peoples are still very, very persecuted, hunted down, killed, etc. So I guess it is a heavy topic, but the interview doesn't have such a heavy feeling that you should avoid it. I think rather you should listen. So once again, this is David Van Nuys of Shrink Wrap Radio Psychology Podcast, urging you to go seek out Shrink Wrap Radio number 477. And so back to you.